Toffee TV, it's the Footy show on Patreon. I'm joined by Paul Machin from the Redmen TV. Baz is in Florida, the bastard.
Sunning it up.
The only good thing is, and I must admit, if I was him, I would be sending pictures every day.
Is he done that thing where he landed and he sent you a picture with his feet up and a bottle of beer in the foreground, going, no, just having a bevy on the balcony?
Yeah. No, to be fair, he hasn't sent. He's sent like one picture. He sent just like pictures of inside the car at the temperature.
That's pretty.
But I don't mind that.
To be fair, that's quite funny.
I don't mind that because it's like 100 degrees, and I'd die.
Yeah.
In 100, so I don't mind that. I'm like, I'm glad I'm not there.
You're a winter people, aren't you?
Well, I'm not that. I just that's too. I think that's too hot for any human being.
Yeah, I think personally, looking at you, I think you belong north of the wall, don't you?
I am a wildling. But that would do that in any other business. No, that's ridiculous heat. I don't think any humans should be standing that. But he said, good job. There's air conditioning. And I'm like, well, there's not air conditioning outside, is there?
No.
That'd be called the wind.
Just air. Yeah.
That'd be called wind or air. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
Barcelona, they are on their absolute arse, aren't they?
It looks like it. Well, on their arse, the way that like really extravagant people. Oh, he's on his arse, and yet he's still got a massive mansion, and he's still got like loads of fit birds and blah blah blah.
You say that?
They're not on their arse like Leeds were on their arse.
No, but you say loads of fit birds, they'll turn out they're all brasses.
Yeah, maybe that's the reason why they're on their arse. Yeah.
But like, I mean, obviously they're chasing around your fella like he's the hottest ticket in town. Well,
apparently, have you heard this? So, by all accounts, the most recent stuff on the Coutinho stuff was that Coutinho's basically said, "Oh, come on, just get me, please, have one more go." And by all accounts, they don't think it's worth their time, but they're doing it to save face. They can't afford the offer that they think would Liverpool might accept, which is like 135 million or something like that.
Do you think Liverpool would accept that?
No, not at this point, no. But I think it gets to the point of that's what I think this was Gillan Ballaghy saying. That's what Coutinho wants them to bid.
Yeah.
And they won't go that high because they just can't afford that much money, which is hilarious.
No, well, I mean, from your point of view, I didn't think you'd sell anyway because it's a case of knowing your audience, isn't it? And
we always sell though, so that fear will not go away.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's same for every club though, isn't it?
But
people aren't there.
Exactly. Oh my god. You guys done a couple of years of holding firm on stuff. You know, you did it with John Stones for a season, and you did it with Lukaku as well. We don't have that kind of track record. We tend to go, how much? What?
Selling club.
Yeah, we're like the tier above Southampton, and that's why they need to know the role as well.
But I just think the whole club. I mean, on the pitch, when you watch some clubs go against Real Madrid, they were miles behind. And I know it's a Super Cup and it's almost like a pre-season game, but it felt like Real Madrid were a club miles ahead of them. They were short everywhere in the pitch, and all those players that we've seen come through, the likes of Piqué and Iniesta was on the bench. They were so far off, and it felt like Real Madrid had transitioned.
Well, they've not repaired and renewed, have they? What Barcelona have been great at over the last 15-20 years is having a guy who's the main man at the club, and then they bring someone else either through or in, and then he builds up to the point, and then they get rid of that main man, and this youngster who's like, oh, okay, they're going to make him the main man. And Messi is the last time they did that, and all of a sudden Neymar, who it turns out was a lot more important to that team than I think people realised, the young, fresh legs in that forward line is gone, and you don't replace. They couldn't replace that if they wanted to.
Suarez is out for 5 weeks. Now he's what, 30 now?
Probably
30, and the way he plays, he can't keep that up for no more than maybe a year or 2 years at that level. Messi's 30 now, and I think he's past his peak now. I still think he's amazing because his peak's like Everest. If you're gonna have a peak, his peak's Everest.
Peaks go,
he's about K2 now. But he's having the talk about his contract, and when January comes, he's effectively a free agent. He can start talking to people, and I imagine if it doesn't repair itself at Barca very quickly, I think he will get. And there's talk Man City are willing to do a deal.
There's always going to be a club there who will take a punt on Messi, because again, it's the, I mean, he's a few years younger, obviously, and I think he's a class above. But like it's like the Zlatan thing, isn't it? There are probably 2 or 3 clubs in world football who wouldn't balk at whatever his wage offering is just to have Messi.
The attractions. The attraction.
And but this is the thing, like the guy, I guess it's the guy who's either is it the director of football, is it the guy who's the president, who's getting loads of shit at the minute because he's just because of all these things, they're letting the Messi contract situation get out of hand. Apparently he lied and said it was done and it wasn't, and now of course they're not rebuilding the squad, and the fans are starting to turn as well.
But it feels like as well that you've heard these things for a while, like the likes of Laporta coming out, but it felt like just sour grapes for a while. But they were saying for a while this club's getting terribly run. It seems like, for me, ever since they've started trying to chase the money, because I mean obviously for a while they never had any sponsor, and then they had UNICEF, and then
like Becca or something.
Yeah, now they've got like the people who own Play.com, basically. I mean, Play.com, I used to love Play.com. I used to get all me American DVDs before they came out. They've got like, it's one of those firms that you can basically buy anything from in China. But it's ever since they've gone really commercial, they just seem to have lost the values. And like you said, the Neymar thing seems to be the big thing. They just didn't handle him with enough care. They didn't have a plan. I don't think to take you could see Messi was at the top, and it was almost like, we're planning to always have Messi and nothing else. Whereas if they'd just gone to Neymar and just said, like, this is the succession plan, we're going to sort of, even if it meant swapping positions, even if it meant...
The problem is Messi's so good, and he is better than Neymar, that you're just looking to milk that out, because that's a once in a generational talent they've got there. Like, we all thought Ronaldinho was amazing, and then they've reset the bar. And when you're looking at Messi, you probably think, everyone else probably does, Pell, you're probably thinking, even a 2 years down the line, Messi, and of course that this doesn't time with the contract stuff, but they're probably thinking, well, he's still going to be the main, he's still good enough to be the main man in this league at this level for a few more years, so let's not worry about it. And they've just, as you say, they've fucked the line of success.
I think they've left that gap too big, because I remember when Ronaldinho was sort of pushed out, and he was still a top player. I mean, his attitude wasn't at it, but he was still a top player. Now, I don't think you could just do that to Messi and push him out, but I suppose if Barca were really savvy, they could push him out in a year and make a hell of a lot of money, and it could have had Neymar to come in as a successor.
There's something to be said for having that lad, and I know he's not technically homegrown, but he is. You know, he's come through La Masia, hasn't he? You know, they've literally built him. He's like the $6 billion man.
They give him all the drugs to
make him, dead tall.
Dead tall.
So there is something to that. Like, we had it with Gerrard. That thing of it's almost a free hit having those guys in your squad, so you underestimate how long it takes to replace them. And again, adding to the fact that he's the best player to ever play the game.
Yes, he is the very best player to ever play the game.
So, I get the difficulty in trying to handle that.
And now they've got the Neymar. Well, they've had the Neymar situation. Now they're suing Neymar for £8 million.
And apparently Neymar was already trying to take them to court over unpaid bonus payments. They want back. They're going to take him over to court over a loyalty payment for signing his contract for like £8 million. They're going to court for £8 million apparently off Neymar, which tells you how much they are on their arse. But they're also, there's all this stuff about breaching contracts and all that. They're having a go at Neymar for his conduct in this thing, while simultaneously telling Phil Coutinho to agitate for a move from his club, whilst telling Dembele not to turn up to training, to do all these things.
Sounds like they've got John Aldridge running them.
Go on strike,
lad. So that's another thing, the Dembele thing. I mean, I haven't even got into that, but that's a mess. And there's pictures today I've seen of Neymar with all his old teammates, and that's weird, because that sounds like the players are almost on the side of Neymar.
They're all putting pictures out on social media with him, aren't they? Like, there's some of them one-on-ones, they're saying it's like a show of support for him. Wow. Like, that's mutiny.
But that sounds like they know the club is getting run terribly, and it needs to be overhauled and go back to what it was that transitioned it into the era of basically, I think, the greatest team ever. The era of 2009 to 2012, I think, is the greatest football team ever to exist. It was just perfect. It was absolutely perfect, and to let that slip in so many, like, it was like, well, we've lost one player, that's fine, with Xavi basically replaced him. Ratovic, not as good, but good. But then they've done that in every position, and it's sad, and it's come to the point now where it's getting, what it's done is, I think it's turned that everyone loved Barca into not really asked.
They've had to pull every dirty trick in the book here. We've just done a video on our website about this with James Pearce from the Echo, and saying that, like, and you look at what they've got, the way they've done it, it's like they've gone through the Barca's big book of tricks, and they've gone through it all, and like they're going, oh, it's not working. They're going, like, skip to chapter. If this happens, go to chapter 12, and they're like, put an ultimatum in. And they go, well, ultimatum, and go, what ultimatum? What? We've already turned it off, down, you dickheads. And so they've lost the plot completely, and fuck them, because ultimately this is great. Barca will always be Barca, and they'll be fine ultimately, and they'll continue to be like this because they're a mega power in world football. But it's nice to see them get a taste of their own medicine. You know, they had no plans to deal with Neymar leaving. There was no anticipation that was going to be a thing. It happened out of their control, and they're now scrambling around whilst also having to be under what looks like financial pressures at the same time. But brilliant, welcome to football, you knobs.
I think maybe the catalyst behind it is the rebuilding the new camp, which looks all great and looks amazing and all the rest of it, but that obviously must be putting pressure on them now. And Spain, especially with Spain as well, Spain's economy is not great, you know. Yeah. Not going to go into all that, but it's not great, and it does feel like it just feels like they're getting played, and they're getting played by clubs the likes of Paris Saint-Germain and maybe City in time, who are obviously owned by oil money, but are run really well. No matter what you say, I mean, Paris Saint-Germain have just got Neymar and just big open arms and know exactly what love to give him. And Barca have just spread themselves, I think, too thin. Yeah. And have I mean, for fuck's sake, they were Jared Deulofeu playing left wing. Jared Deulofeu.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, is, as you say, you've got Suarez, Messi and Iniesta, and they're all heading into heading out of the prime, more so for Iniesta than anyone. And they need to start, and all of a sudden they're going to face a situation where they might have to replace all three.
Well, they're going to have to replace Xavi because he hasn't played for them for 3 years.
Sorry, Iniesta, Suarez and Messi. Yeah, you know, they're the ones. They're the three. They're definitely the three keys to it, and they're going to have to replace them because they're all getting old, and all of a sudden they've not budgeted right. I think Coutinho was meant to be the Iniesta replacement, but next year so they've tried to speed up the timescales and all that kind of stuff, and you know, like I say, I think it's quite amusing because as much as I never used to mind Barcelona too much, I kind of like them, but just good fun watching.
And the odd thing is, Real Madrid are the ones now who've got this young, fresh Spanish talent coming through, and who'd have ever thought that? They were always the Galacticos, and now they've looked at the bigger picture and realised that it takes more than that. Because oddly enough, on a bigger thing, there isn't like a dearth of talent coming through, you know, anywhere in the world. Yeah. That next layer is oddly.
They're just struggling, aren't they? For normally what they would do is, I talk about this all the time about, you know, the way they're built is they bring in good squad players, young players, and then if they've not got like genuine world class players coming through, they'll buy one or two top end, dead expensive players to plug the gaps and make them a special side. Well, all of a sudden, look at the Bayern. With the greatest respect to Phil Coutinho, he's not good enough to play for Barcelona yet. You know, he's good. He's very good. No, very good. Yeah. You know, look at Dembele from Dortmund. Yeah. Good season.
One season.
You know, is he ready? And then all of a sudden, the Bayern Paulinho and you know what I mean? Is a Spurs reject by all accounts. You know, you've got people tweeting like, we've got sold Neymar and bought Paulinho. I don't know any club with him. Exactly. And you know, they're bringing Jerry back.
Jerry who couldn't last.
He wasn't good enough to play for Hughes.
He wasn't, and he wasn't good enough. Simple as that. Fucked up. Let's move on. Wayne Rooney has retired from playing for England, which I know you're devastated about, because you just wanted him to play so we would be knackered, so we'd be knackered.
No, I'm not. I thought he should have retired from international footy a couple of years ago, but I get it. He's record chasing, isn't he, and doing all the stuff that he's been doing. I've struggled to find interest in England in a general sense for about 15 plus years, but what I can't stand about England is everything that Rooney for England typified was a fella being made the main man who probably shouldn't have been made the main, who was made the main man on reputation, and stayed that way, and watching all these young, exciting, skillful, pacey players come through, and then you've got Wayne Rooney kind of just slovenly hanging around the edge of the box, looking for someone to play a 1-2 with. So for ultimately for the best. I hope he has his renaissance on the domestically for you.
The odd thing is, you look around at the moment though, and there's not too many English players doing anything forward wise, and that's the weird thing. He might have even have got in the English squad, and maybe that's what he's waiting for, to get back in and go, unlucky lads.
Yeah,
gonna be boss with the Blues, and it's just
Well, yeah, if you look at who's in form of the English centre forward, you're damn right. Harry Kane's not scored yet, has he? Vardy got one. He's not, but even then, he's not flying. Daniel Sturridge has been injured, so he's only just coming back again. Shock. And then Danny Welbeck, just shit, isn't he? So we've got
England in a nutshell. Who? I know we probably not even asked about this, but it leaves a role now for a permanent New England captain. You know, the fella they put on the Mars bar advert, essentially. That's what you are, aren't you?
It's going to be Jordan Henderson.
Do you think? I think it's going to be Harry Kane.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people will be going Jordan Henderson, and based on his performance this season, I get that. But Harry Kane, I can't stand centre forwards being captains. It's another bugbear of mine.
Do you know what? It's more prevalent at international level, though, isn't it?
Yeah, because you inevitably international if you give it to your best player, don't you?
Yeah.
And I think, well, I've had this long-held theory that small clubs and small international nations give the captaincy to the best player because it's like a please be good, please play for us, please do whatever. To be fair, I'm tired of Liverpool with that brush. We did it with Gerrard. Gerrard shouldn't have been Liverpool captain.
Well, it's Carragher, wasn't it?
Exactly. Just give it to Carragher and have done with. But I think you like look at Shearer for Newcastle. They give him the captain's armband to be like, oh please like us and please be important for your hometown club. That kind of bollock.
And then give him a bar, and then because he said a couple of nasty things, they've took the name. It's not called Shearers, it's called Strikers or something now, or number 9s or something.
Number 9 bar. Is that like what Ronaldo was like on FIFA 97 or something, like number 9?
I just want to Harry Kane to be asked head or tail.
Flippy silly sausage.
Yeah, let's move on. Jack Wilshere, the return of the golden boy for Arsenal, played on Monday night for the under-23s, getting back from a broken leg that he sustained for Bournemouth last year, playing against Tottenham, funny enough, and has the pettiest, worst fight ever.
The boy, and he's not a boy anymore, he's a grown up. Unfortunately, he's a handbag dog, isn't he? That's what he is. He's not a footballer. He's not anything. He's just a nut, and he's just something that Paris Hilton would carry around with the tampons in a fucking, in a handbag. He is the poster child for everything that's like the modern shit about modern footy.
Football,
yeah. He's got the sleeve tattoos probably. He has a cheeky biff there on the side. He's good. He's quite good at footy, but that means that people think he's loads better than he is. He's dead injury prone. He's this big, and he's just
lad.
He's a geezer, a little geezer, but he's not, because real geezers would just smash his little face in, wouldn't they?
But it was dead funny because he got whacked, and then he didn't like retaliate badly, but then the City player just got stormed in, and the next minute it's just going off. And
someone tweeted, didn't he, say about it was like the low point of his career, and he was
the low point. It was someone from that newspaper,
of course,
and he basically said, "Come on, let's have a chat about what basically he said, I'm on my way back from a Premier League footballer," and
I mean, fair play. Where he's supposed to play if you come back from injury. But I mean, if you've no interest in the Jack Wilshere story, and that is the vast majority of people on the planet, seeing a guy who was touted as the great white hope of international football in Arsenal, who's just been on loan at Bournemouth and is now getting sent off in the 23 years, you kind of go, well, that's your.
Well, where does he go? What does he do now?
Don't know. Championship. He'll retire before he will. I genuinely think that he gets the point. Someone will always want, and there'll be someone who'll fancy it, but he'll reach a point, I think, where because of his injuries, he's never going to get a full season. I don't think he's never going to make it to the maximum of his potential, and eventually those clubs that he's getting 15-20 games a season for will, it was Bournemouth are fine. and I know there was a bit of a connection there or whatever, but all of a sudden it's West Ham. And maybe you just stick at West Ham, you get a 5-year contract at West Ham and just ride it out and then retire. But
so at 28 or whatever.
No, exactly, but this is the point. Or I think he would. I think eventually there'll just be championship clubs come knocking, and he'll either decide what's it worth.
If I was him, I'd go abroad. If there's an offer to go abroad, get out of it, or somewhere like Celtic, somewhere that you can play Champions League football.
That's a really good idea. Yeah.
Play Champions League football. I mean, at the moment, if you could go, if you're playing with a manager who'd appreciate his...
Brendan would.
Well, he'd appreciate... Exactly.
Him so much. He's like a rich man's Joe Allen.
And he'd be playing in the Champions League, he'd be playing at a level that he'd be easily good enough. And as long as he can stay fit, then... Yeah, exactly. And I think it would bring him... I think he just needs a dose of reality.
Yeah.
More than anything in the world.
Yeah.
I think that's half... Well, that's not half of him, that's the full problem.
He just needs to find a club that'll do what we used to do again toward the end of Gerrard with Sturridge to some extent, or what Tottenham did with Ledley King or whatever maybe, and just say, you don't train but you turn up. But the problem is that's never going to be a competitive football club that offers him that. So West Ham's probably the perfect solution. I think it's funny how him and Ross Barkley's sort of career have, seen as the great hopes of English football, and both of them have just... Mentality is a big issue in that. It looks like Ross is just too nice. He's too nice a boy, isn't he? He's probably a bit too middle class to succeed as well.
I don't think he's middle class.
I
don't think
so. In Wavertree.
Have you been to Wavertree?
I went to school in Wavertree.
Exactly. Let's move on. The Carabao Cup, is that what you call it? Carabao Cup. It's a thing. It's the League Cup, isn't it?
It's the Rumbelows Cup.
It is.
The Coca-Cola Cup.
The classic era.
Milk.
We haven't got a classic era of it because we've never won it. The draw, I believe that's happening tonight.
Yeah,
or tomorrow morning. 4:15 in the AM, which is perfect for me.
Which would be fine. You'll still be up. You'll still be up.
Tweet it live.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
pathetic.
It's shite, that, isn't it?
If you were going to, now the idea is supposedly that it's just for the market, for the Far East market. Sponsor a better cup competition if you want to build up the reputation.
What is it, energy drink?
It's an energy drink. They sponsor. I don't know.
Chelsea's
training. Yeah. So they're obviously trying to make moves in the market, and obviously the League Cup is. How poorly owned and managed is the League Cup if they're prepared to have this be a thing?
What I love is they're doing the League Cup at 4:15 in the morning, or China, whatever it is in China. Red Bull take men to the edge of space and throw them off a balloon.
Yeah.
That's their advertising.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a difference.
Yeah, exactly, like soapbox races and flying machines and all these kind of amazing things that they do. And yeah, Carabao. I think I'm right in saying that the first or second round draw they drew Crystal Palace twice.
Yeah, something like that.
There's the thing on this competition though. Maybe we chatted about this around Social Club this week, but I take the final over there.
Yeah.
Take the final over there and put it in a 90,000 capacity stadium over to the Far East somewhere where it's gonna be jam packed full of people, and pray that Birmingham don't make the final.
No, cue us getting the final, like you know what I mean?
Pray it to the
how many stubs you need for that?
Exactly. That's the only way you're doing anything interesting with that. But making the draw, I've got one of the lads who does our social media who's basically got to set his alarm for 4 o'clock in the morning to do reaction to it.
Cruel master.
His idea, not mine.
Oh yeah, you probably said, "I've got a great idea." And then,
I was like, "Really? Go on then, go for it. Great idea. Yeah, I sure as shit won't be reacting to that."
Well, it'll still only be at like 11 o'clock East Coast American time. You'll pick them up.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's the way to think about it.
Sure.
Sticking with China, final subject. It looks like the arse has fallen out of Chinese football.
Another shock there.
Yeah, 6 months ago, everyone wanted to go. Everyone was going over. Likes of Oscar and Tevez and Pele and Anachabi and Yelovich.
Is that where Big Vic is?
He's in the 2nd division. You say that, but he might be in at like £100,000.
Well, this is the only reason why he could possibly be going over there. Yeah, it's bonkers, isn't it? I mean, is it? I was actually thinking this the other day. I was actually thinking about MLS and how I think the 2 seasons prior to the current one were the big opportunity for MLS to break out, and it never did.
Gerrard and Lampard.
Exactly, and it never did, and I just can't see it breaking out.
No.
And I know, and that's the problem with the China. Yeah, they've done all this and they've brought these players in, great, but you've got to do it for, if you want it to be a success, it's got to be done for more than that. You've got to take those limitations off the number of foreigners you can do and just have a proper influx and blah blah.
But the thing about it is, though, the MLS and the MLS fans, they don't want to see those players anymore. They don't want to see old European players coming over and earning a fortune. So they don't mind. It as a league, it's still growing. It's still very young. So they're happy the way it's growing, and they're going to get more teams in the next couple of years, and they're getting like a lot of good Mexican players now, which is obviously a big draw. A lot of good Central American, a lot of good South American, and that's starting to work now for them. And once they get those better teams, I think they might introduce promotion and relegation, maybe split the leagues, and that'll work. Whereas China, they've gone big fast. And if it all just falls in on itself, then they're just back to square one. So I don't think MLS are that arse about breaking the European market.
No. I mean, you're right. I mean, that's the best. The thing what they need to do, but that's what China have tried to do, is they've tried to go out and buy players at the peak. And it's not exclusively true, of course, but they've got a few guys there who you're still going, oh right, okay. Well, he could. It's not like Gerrard going for the last hurrah in his mid-30s and Lampard in his late 30s or whatever. Similarly, Beckham, I guess, and Robbie Keane and all that stuff. And I still think that's what MLS should be doing. It needs to be attractive enough an option for guys to go, well, you know what, I'm not going to go to West Ham to keep bringing them up. I'm going to go and play at a top team in the MLS.
Yeah. And I think they are. It's just not European players because the money's too good here. But the team who owns Tevez apparently haven't paid Barca, so that's a massive sort of sign. And Tevez is injured and has gone back to Argentina to recuperate, and apparently they've said, you've got to come back within a certain date.
This all sounds very familiar, doesn't it?
He ain't never going back, is he? He's not coming back. There's obviously this looks like players are leaving, and there was talk Costa was going to go. That's not happened now. The tax went up on the players, so I imagine any of those players who went over now, and let's be honest, the players who went have probably earned a couple of solid £1 million for 6 months work, but they'll start flooding back now. So it'll be interesting to see where the likes of Oscar go. I mean, Pele, I'd happily look at Pele for us and say, let's see if we can get him out there and what it would take to get him out there. And I could see those players flooding back now.
We should see what deadline day looks like at that, if we do see like a random deadline day exodus from the Chinese Super League. Have you ever watched any of it?
I have watched a little bit of it.
I watched at the end of a half and the start of another half of one of the games, and I think it was a team that Hulk plays in, and it was just the worst thing I'd ever seen. Like the goalkeeper and the defending, it was just crazy bad. The worst thing I'd ever seen. But
the atmospheres are great, the fans are great. So they should just stick to the. Sounds quite Brexity, shouldn't it? Should stick to their own. No, they should try and develop their own and try and get the best players that are in Asia.
Get the coaches if you're going to do it. Do what Spain did. Do what Germany did. Just look at your infrastructure and go, right, we're gonna fundamentally change how we approach football. It's not you're not gonna make yourself big by. You might get more people through the gates, and that might in turn generate interest in it. But that's fine. But if you're generating interest in a shit product, you're better off going and spending all that money on the best European coaches. And bringing them over and going for something.
I think it's just rich Chinese fellas who've just come into a lot of money, just trying to. It's a new plaything, isn't it? Mine's better than yours, kind of thing. It's quite funny. You mentioned coaches. I heard some over the weekend saying apparently that's what North Korea have been doing, like bringing in really good coaches and also sending their kids out to like Spain and stuff and France to like learn from brilliant coaches
through like black bag operations.
But that's mad. It's like North Korea. I've got like a really good plan. So like,
yeah, I mean they'll probably have them all killed at the end of it, like once they've passed on the knowledge. But
cloned.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just weird that North Korea have got a better plan for football than China now. That's it for the Footy Show this week. If you've got any views on what we've been talking about, let us know in the comments. Our Barca fucked. I think that's basically what we're taking out of the whole conversation.
I hope so. Really hope so.
Yeah, but think about Pez.
Yeah, well, they'll be less fun to play.
They're the kings of they're the kings
of
Pro Evo, aren't they? They've given the heart and soul over, like your good selves. You've
Why do you say that? That's a bad thing.
Well, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying
you'd love to be licensed on Pro Evo. You would. Because what if I didn't bother my ass to put the fucking kits on? You'd be fucked, wouldn't you?
I'm just hoping that we are licensed soon, so that we can I can play it without any worry of what the kit is and.
Merseyside blue.
There you go. There you go. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Paul for joining us. And if you've got any comments on should he adapt the medallion to go with the chest hair, let us know in the comments. See you later.